Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and it's finally time to take a look at the new roadmaps. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Warhammer Nova Preview. Warhammer 40,000 Roadmap Revealed. The Blood Angels and Imperial Agents have been purging the Warhammer community offices for weeks now, and we think they finally got rid of the last of the Gene Stealer cults from earlier in the summer. That means we're free to crack open the STC roadmap and divine what's coming next to 41st Millennia. So there is a 10-minute video right here, but we're just going to jump in and take a look at the article. So this roadmap has been massively awaited. It's definitely behind schedule. Previously, whenever they've revealed these, they've showed off like 10 factions that are coming or somewhere around the lines. So we have a good idea like what to plan ahead for the next year, what's coming, what codexes, etc. And I've got to say, this is a massive disappointment. Games Workshop completely overhyped this event, pretended like we're about to get 4 actual roadmaps, and then delivered whatever this trash is. Now, that being said, it's still cool that we're getting part of a roadmap. But realistically, when it comes to like a hobby that you actually have to buy, build, and paint your stuff to play with it, knowing what's coming over the next year is really nice. And Games Workshop has already put this off for like multiple months. Matter of fact, the Blood Angels Codex was like rumored for a while, but there was no actual roadmap with it on there. And now this just feels extremely lackluster. So that being said, we see the roadmap 2024. It has so far and basically talks about what already came out. And then it has still to come. And it mentions the Blood Angels. And we know the box is coming out right away. It'll be a couple months probably before the actual codex is released. And then it says, and then beyond, and goes into 2025. And it basically just says Astra Militarum, Aeldari, and Imperial Knights. Plus more codices, big names, and special chaos treats. So that's it. They're basically saying like, hey, the roadmap is a bunch of stuff already came out. And then in 2025, we're going to get Astra Militarum, Aeldari, and Imperial Knights. So instead of showing off like 8 to 10 different armies that are coming and giving people an idea, getting people excited for their codex potentially being like one of the next, rather than getting people excited for the codexes that are coming out, they're basically just revealing like 3 things. So the Astra Militarum will be next to deploy after Codex Supplement Blood Angels drops in the next few weeks. The Death Corps of Krieg are mustering in force, and they'll be making Planetfall with the division of new plastic kits. Taking them from a meme kill team to a meat grinding army we know them to be. Krieg's finest aren't the only ones to receive new aspects in their new army in plastic, and so the next faction to swoop into stores will be the Aeldari. Alright, so that's really cool, obviously, for Astra Militarum players out there. In the past, they had to wait till the very end of the edition to get their codex, so really nice to see that that's coming in 2025. Obviously, Krieg is awesome, the models are amazing, so seeing some more Krieg kits is going to be great. The expansion of the range alongside the new codex is absolutely amazing, and I'm super hyped for that. I'm super hyped for Guard players out there. And then Aeldari as well, they've been broken throughout the edition. They've had countless patches. So it'll be nice to see them get their actual codex, a little bit more flavor in it and different ways to play the army. We also know there's going to be some new aspect warrior kits with the new jump kill team. It's very likely that they're going to get either swooping hawks or warp spiders as a kill team. So that is amazing. Maybe both sets coming out as models. Also some new plastic models for like the Phoenix Lords. Just a couple of things that have been waiting on a refresh. Eldar is extremely popular. They're super cool in the lore. So this should be a good seller for Games Workshop too. And then of course we got the Imperial Knights. And with so many Xenos threatening the Imperium, it's only right that the noble Imperial Knights will be striding out to meet them on the field of battle soon afterwards. And then our own Astropathic Choir have been hearing tempting whispers about something special for the forces of chaos. But we've given them strict instructions not to listen to those. So that's it. They like really hyped up this massive like reveal event. And then basically just showed us 3 factions, which it is definitely cool to know for sure that we've got Astra Militarum coming out and new Krieg kits. We've got Aeldari coming out and some new Aspect Warrior kits. And then we've got Imperial Knights, hopefully some new kits to go along with them as well. And by all means, Games Workshop is free to like mix things up whenever they want. So if they only want to show off 3 factions, that's 100% their prerogative. But I got to say that I was super hyped to see the next like 8 to 10 books coming out. And this is a massive letdown. Hyping this event up so much and telling us we were going to get the new roadmap, getting people excited for this, and then only delivering on like 3 of the names that are coming out next year is the definition of overhyping and under-delivering. Because we know realistically there is probably going to be something like 8 or so codexes coming out next year. But the amount of like time and preparation and everything that goes into them actually having like a book ready for launch, you got to know that most of this stuff, the work has already been done. So it's not hard for them to just put up an image and let us know what other codexes are coming out and in what order. And in the past, I've been a massive fan of Games Workshop releasing the roadmaps and letting people know what's coming so they can plan ahead, get excited, and then move towards like the various armies they want. So I don't know what the reason is for them to under-deliver so much. but I definitely don't think it's going to be received well. I mean, as soon as I found out they were only showing off 3, I was very disappointed. I'm sure a lot of people share that same sentiment, because basically one of the most exciting things that happens in 40K is if we're going to get like pigeonholed into these 3-year game editions, and you're going to go the majority of the time for most people without their codex, you want to at least know when it's coming. So that little bit of information is enough to get you like super excited, to let you work towards your goals to get an army on the tabletop, built, painted, or maybe just purchase a new one. So by not giving us like that plan ahead schedule, it definitely feels like we're losing out on something. So I don't know what other people's opinions are on this. I think a lot of people were super excited for this roadmap reveal. And it's not really a roadmap. It's basically just like a taste of a roadmap to come. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch, and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. So I love that there's a bunch of new Krieg kits coming. That is super exciting. I love that the Guard Codex is coming. Very, very excited for that. The Jump Scions are going to get a datasheet in 40K. That's amazing as well. The new detachments that come are going to be really good and give the Guard like different ways to play the game. So that should really help them out. And then also just knowing that they're not going to get stuck in last place again and only have a couple months to use their codex is definitely awesome. As far as Aeldari is concerned, again, super excited for the new kits coming out for Aeldari. Many of you know that my first army ever, my first full 2,000 points over 30 years ago was Aeldari, or Eldar back then. I love the new kits that they put out over the last couple of years. The new aspect warriors have been amazing. I haven't been playing them this edition because they've just been too broken, too good, and I like to swim upstream. I much prefer an army that's difficult to play and hard to master. So hopefully whatever changes comes to Aeldari just makes them a little more fun on the tabletop for not only the people that are playing them, but the people that are playing against them. I don't know that they need to take away like the fate dice aspect of the game, but it's taken countless nerfs to get them in line with like probably where they should be. So hopefully with like new detachments coming out for them as well, Games Workshop is going to be able to keep them actually balanced and not just fully start over 10th edition with broken Eldar when the codex hits. But super excited for the new models. Definitely excited for Eldar players out there. And then Imperial Knights, again, very cool. They're an awesome army. They're super fun to take to tournaments because there's just less models, less data sheets. And I absolutely love the entire range of models. We've seen a couple of new knights. We've seen a few new knights released this year. I would definitely like to see maybe some different armature variants, or some kind of other options for knights as well. Maybe another special character, possibly something on the smaller side, not quite like chaff infantry, but maybe something a little bit smaller than a war dog. That would be pretty cool. And then of course, I'm assuming the Whispers of Chaos probably means that it's going to be Chaos Knights as well, because realistically, if you're going to write the book for knights, there's very little extra work that has to go into writing the book for the Chaos Knights. There's only a few different data sheets. So at that point in time, you're basically just writing detachments. So I would imagine that one's coming as well. But yeah, definitely disappointed that we're not getting like a full roadmap for the year. Definitely disappointed that we're not getting to see like the 8 to 10 books that are coming out. And realistically, there's still a few months left in the year. I would expect there to be at least like 1 or 2 more codexes coming before 2025. And it's really not that big of a deal, I'm sure, to some people that they've put this off, that they've only showed off a couple of factions to come. But in all reality, for me, somebody that actually plays and enjoys the editions, it is actually a really big deal. Because part of the biggest flaw in 40K and Games Workshop systems is that they release the indexes initially, and then over the next 3 years, they release everybody's books. And then there's a very little window from when all the books are actually out that you get to enjoy the edition. So I would much rather see a situation where Games Workshop puts out all the indexes at the beginning and then releases all of the codexes in the first like 50 or 60% of the edition. And then we get a full like 40% of the edition at the end where everybody has their books. We get to fully play everything as it is. They can still do like the various updates, quarterly updates to points or rules as necessary. But we basically get the game in a situation where everybody can play it with all of their rules for an extended period of time. So if they're going to leave it at the 3-year windows, I would rather see all of the books come out in the first 2 years. And by basically putting off like the release schedule, putting off the roadmap, it seems more like there's going to be people at the end of the edition that get screwed because their book comes out at the very end and they get very little playtime with it. And that also means not only do they get screwed at the end when the book comes out and they have very little play with it, but also the entire edition leading up to it, they're just using their index so they have basically like a subpar version of their army. But realistically, if I was behind the scenes at Games Workshop, if I was in charge of the release schedule and like the actual game editions, I would make all of the editions last for 5 years. And in the first 3 years, all of the books, everything would come out. And then in the next 2 years, you would get to enjoy your complete codex, your army as is. And then they would release like an additional detachment for each faction or new models for those factions with new data sheets and points in the last 2 years. But overall, the game would be in a good place. They would have plenty of time to balance it, figure out what needs to be changed, what's positive, what's negative. And then by the time they're ready for the new edition, you get a full 5 years of play out of it. Everybody has their books in the first few years. Everybody gets to enjoy their full army in the next couple years. And then by the time you get to the new edition, everybody would be excited for it. It wouldn't feel like this looming dark cloud over everyone's head. And that FOMO mentality that Games Workshop is always pushing, where you just can't wait to get your book because you know that the longer goes by before you get your codex, the less time you have to play with it in the edition. So let me know what you guys think of this. Obviously, I'm super excited for Astra Militarum, Aeldari, and Imperial Knights. I'm super excited for what's to come. But I've got to say, it really feels like Games Workshop overhyped this roadmap release. Maybe they don't realize how exciting this is for people and important this is to the actual people that are playing the game. But yeah, just showing off the next 3 codexes that are coming out and then pushing those until 2025 with no more releases in 2024 is a definition of under-delivering for me. So let me know what you think's coming, which kits you're most excited to see for these various factions. If you have an opinion as to why Games Workshop has put off like the full roadmap reveal and just gave us this little teaser, always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I really feel like Games Workshop dropped the ball on this one. And I'm out of here.